Booster Gold, the greatest hero you've never heard of. He hails from far into the future and has only come back because he sees the 21st century as desperately needing his help. Booster Gold is supposed to be this larger-than-life superhero who is just amazing at everything he does. He has a overly self-inflated ego. He thinks he's basically the greatest superhero to ever exist, only popping up when the most dangerous and world-threatening villains need to be taken down. That's when Booster Gold shows up, because that's the kind of hero he is. Better than Superman, better than Batman, better than Wonder Woman. Or at least that's how Booster Gold portrays himself to the rest of the DC universe. In all reality, Booster Gold is kind of a loser, man. Like, a really big loser. One of the only people who doesn't see him as a loser is actually his best friend Blue Beetle, that being the Ted Kord, so the second Blue Beetle in DC Comics, officially. Ted Kord's the only person that sees Blue Beetle as being any sort of an actual hero. He's pretty much considered a joke and considered to be very pathetic by a majority of the DC universe. Nobody really takes Booster Gold seriously at all, simply because he just wants the hero lifestyle, not only for the fame, but also because he wants to be viewed as this great superhero, grandiose, can do anything. But at the end of the day, Booster Gold really only came back from the past so he could get a whole ton of fame.
You're right, it's not just about fame. What'd you pull down last year, before taxes?
Booster is like a C-list superhero at best, especially in the grander scheme of DC Comics. He's fairly obscure, but I don't know how much I agree with the title of Booster Gold being obscure, simply because it seems like a lot of people know who he is, even though he's played up to be this obscure C-lister. But despite all of that, he's just pathetic. He's not good at being a superhero. He's not good at all. As a matter of fact, there are multiple instances where every time Booster Gold shows up, whether it be comics, movies, TV shows, he's showing up to be a pathetic loser. He's just not very good at being a superhero. Take one of my favorite episodes from Justice League Unlimited, Season 1, that being the greatest story never told. Throughout the entire episode, Booster Gold is pretty much just taking straight L's. He tries to show himself off to the people as this grandiose superhero from the future, but nobody is even close to buying it. Nobody knows who Booster Gold is, and nobody cares. As a matter of fact, one of the biggest running gags throughout the episode is that Booster Gold is constantly compared to Green Lantern, and people keep mistaking him for Green Lantern. And even when he tries to get some more recognition at the League and tries to convince Martian Manhunter to give him more jobs to do, Booster just straight up and flat out does not get any opportunities because he's viewed as a joke. Martian Manhunter literally views him as nothing more than just an auxiliary member and doesn't even pay Booster the time of day. When an entire supervillain attack is going on and all hands are on deck for Justice League Unlimited, Booster Gold is relegated to the C-list worst place. Might even be D-list in this show, considering that Stargirl is going out on the real missions with her dad. But no, Booster Gold and his fellow D/C-lister Elongated Man are both left behind. Big hit to Booster's pride, but at least he's got somebody. But to make things even worse, Booster ends up losing Elongated Man. Because Elongated Man can actually be useful even if Plastic Man is there, and Booster on the other hand is not useful. Not useful in the slightest. And even when Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are all combined into one hero, they still don't want Booster Gold's help. They just rather he stay on crowd control where he can't mess anything up. It gets so bad to the point where Booster is literally out here saving pet ant colonies because that's the best he can do. And Booster can't even get recognition for saving a pet ant colony because unfortunately, people just think he's Green Lantern, which is hilarious because his suit is literally Green Lantern's greatest weakness.
I'm not Green Lantern, I'm Booster Gold. If I were Green Lantern, my costume would be green, now wouldn't it?
And it's not just Justice League Unlimited that we see this. Most recently in the Rebirth comics, we have an entire storyline called The Gift. The idea was that Booster Gold went back in time in order to save Batman's parents from being killed, all in the event of creating a happy gift for Batman upcoming his wedding. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. Hal Jordan is committing a word I can't say. Jason Todd is a sleazy salesman. Signal is lobotomized, I take it. Basically, he created the worst timeline possible. Dick Grayson is Batman, but he's a very murderous version of Batman. And Booster Gold has pretty much done nothing right when it comes to this verse, except for Bruce. Bruce Wayne is happy in this timeline because he has his parents, even though Gotham is war-torn and pretty much being destroyed at all stages. And Booster Gold thinks, well, how can I fix this now that my time-traveling machine's broken? Simple, bring Catwoman back to Bruce. Yeah, that didn't work out very well because this version of Catwoman's insane. And it all just ends up leading to a massive death party that I probably have to censor for YouTube because this comic book featured a lot of blood. But basically, because Booster Gold goes back in time and messes with the time stream, he ends up creating what is one of the worst potential outcomes for the future that's up there with a Flashpoint level of disaster. You think people would learn after Flashpoint to stop messing with time travel, but that's just it. They never learn. But that's at least the persona that Booster Gold wants to put on. Except for that comic book, The Gift, Tom King just has no idea about the character of Booster Gold. For the last 6 minutes, I've been ripping into Booster Gold much like any of his contemporaries would do in universe, by calling him pathetic, by calling him useless, by saying he knows nothing. But part of that is because Booster Gold plays into it. Booster himself is actually a very good hero. It's just nobody's ever going to be around to see it. That was the whole idea behind the episode The Greatest Story Never Told. Booster Gold spends a majority of that episode doing things that would never garner him fame, even though that's what he says he wants. He helps a kid save his ant colony. He helps an old lady get across the street properly. And even when the Justice League completely disbar the idea that Booster has found any sort of usefulness or an objective that could be useful in stopping a man with a literal black hole in his chest, Booster ends up not going to help that guy, but instead helping a woman deliver a baby because that's the right thing to do. Booster plays into this idea of being an idiot because it is convenient for him. He literally is the protector of the time stream in modern day comics and is quite literally one of the most important heroes in the DC universe, even if he is C-list to this day. Booster Gold does a whole lot to help people that is just never going to be seen, simply because he manipulates and warps time. In just about every appearance that he has, at least in other media outside of the comic books, and when written well inside of the comic books, is shown to be the laughable, funny idiot that jokes around and does terrible things, but that's just the surface that he wants to put out and portray. Because could you imagine getting close to a dude who has, oh, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of enemies trying to take him out from the time stream? Yeah, that's not fun. And it's also shown throughout, especially the Justice League Unlimited episode, that Booster Gold harbors a lot of guilt for the way in which he's trying to be a hero and the things in which he has done. He harbors a lot of guilt because he feels himself to be a fraud, even though it's shown time and time again that he isn't. I liked the idea that this Justice League Unlimited episode played into that thought process of Booster Gold, especially because we're seeing a far more new Booster and not protector of the time stream Booster as he would become later on.
I'm a fraud. Do you know why I came back to the past? It wasn't a fight for justice. It was to get rich, be famous. I was a failure in the future, just like I am here. I'm not a superhero.
This part wasn't originally in my script, but as I've been looking back at this through the editing process, Booster Gold resonates with me, specifically in this episode a lot, on the idea of him being an imposter, of him not being good enough, of him not being a real hero. And for me, I understand that feeling a lot. Not necessarily because I'm from the future and I'm supposed to save lives and stole all the technology to get there and was faking my way to the top, but more of the idea that I have been handed one of the greatest gifts I have ever received in my life through this channel. I have the privilege of getting to speak to you all about things that I love and things that are impassioned for me, and I get paid to do so. This is a dream job for so many people, and at times I feel like a fraud because all I do is talk about the things that I love. I think it's called imposter syndrome or whatever, but I relate to Booster on that specific character note so much, and it's what makes me endeared towards what he does as a character, essentially, especially since I've started making videos. So yeah, I do sometimes feel like a fraud when I sit here and I get to just record whatever and put it out for you guys. And that's just me being real and honest. It was one of my New Year's resolutions, was to be more raw with all of you guys and just be more honest. And I resonate with Booster on that note so very much. Something that I didn't really realize till I was going through and editing this portion of the video. Okay, back to your like regularly scheduled portion of the video. Gosh, I've rewritten this video like 3 or 4 times at this point and re-edited it like 6. Oh man, I hope people watch this all the way through. Booster ultimately goes out of his way to save the day, not just for fame or for fortune, because ultimately the Justice League is never going to recognize this. And while that may have been his original plan and his original thought process for coming back to the 21st century, Booster ultimately proves himself to be not only a capable superhero, but also somebody that is worth being viewed as more than pathetic. Somebody who is worth being viewed as a real hero, even if he refuses to see himself in such a light. Booster Gold has a depth of character that is not often correctly shown because you have to balance him being an idiot with him having these deeper moments. I chose the Justice League Unlimited episode because it does a really great job of showing both sides of Booster's character.
Sir, according to my thermal sensor readings of Dr. Simmons, you just missed a prime opportunity to, well, I believe the phrase is, kiss the girl.
Kissing girls is for heroes, Skeets.
But I also chose the Tom King comic, The Gift, in order to show how easily it is for somebody like Booster Gold to be written wrong. Somebody who has such a deep and thorough understanding of the time stream would never mess with it so frivolously in order to just give Batman a gift. That's not something Booster Gold would have done because Booster Gold isn't an idiot. But Tom King didn't understand that when writing the character. That's why I wanted to show that comic book, because yes, it plays into the idea that Booster is pathetic, but does so too much. Because at the end of the day, Booster Gold really isn't that bad of a hero. And what's really funny is an entire show that was dedicated towards kids, which was Justice League's revival show, where Kevin Conroy once again voiced Batman. It took place around 2017. Goes out of its way to show how great of a protector of the time stream Booster Gold is when things need to be serious. He shows up in the episode tripping around, making his usual jokes and not taking anything seriously until there is a time stream anomaly where Booster Gold kicks it into high gear and we actually get to see just how competent of a person Booster is. Which is honestly very out of character, at least from Batman's point of view, somebody who is constantly riding Booster and is constantly thinking the worst of him. Batman ultimately gets to see just how effective Booster Gold is as a hero and just how much care Booster Gold takes with the timeline.
How long have you been doing this?
Whenever I'm not around.
I just assumed you were off playing foosball somewhere.
Oh, I totally do that too. First to 3?
And what makes this all even crazier is that nobody will ever know just how much Booster takes care of the timeline. For a superhero that originally came into the comics looking for nothing more than fame and fortune, in which he originally got when he saved the president and unknowingly and mistakenly named himself Booster Gold, he doesn't really seem to seek it out a lot in modern day comics, nor does he ever really care that much for fame or fortune when he's put in the hands of a proper writer. Booster Gold very much cares for the time stream and cares for the protecting the people around him, much more willing to age himself many years than to let Batman have himself be aged. Booster Gold is a really great superhero. He portrays himself as being pathetic, and he lets everyone around him see himself as pathetic, just so that he can continue to be a better superhero and protect the world. And I think that's great. He is the trope of dumb idiot who is actually the smartest person in the room at his specific task. And by the end of this episode, not only did Booster save the entire world, but he also has to take flack from Batman because Batman won't remember any of this happening.
You're unprofessional, unfocused. Booster, you're the worst crime fighter I've ever known.
You know what? Nothing. Just, never mind. You're right, Bats. You're always right.
I think that scene right there perfectly exemplifies the kind of character Booster Gold is. He is very much willing to take it on the chin for the greater good of the rest of everybody else, even if it means making himself look bad in the process. Booster doesn't care about that as much as he would proclaim to. He very much cares about one thing, and that's keeping the people around him safe. And so when Booster loses a character like Ted Kord, it really strikes him hard, because even though he does so much, he knows he can't change it, because changing the timeline like that would do irreparable damage. Which is again why I bring up The Gift as like this example of Booster Gold being terribly written, because while in the Justice League episode it's very clear that he is sometimes putting on a show for everybody else and there's a lot more depth to his character, The Gift just fundamentally gets him wrong, and that fits the narrative of Booster being pathetic that I wanted to really drive home, especially in the beginning of this video, because he has such a hidden depth to him as a character that makes Booster so enjoyable. Booster is an amazing character, and a character I really appreciate, and I think that some media just completely gets him wrong, because while he is DC's most pathetic hero, he's also one of the universe's greatest. And I wish more people would write about him, more people would make episodes or TV shows about Booster Gold. I'd love a Booster Gold TV show in an animated format. I think it would be wonderful. But yeah, that's the greatest hero that you have never heard of, Booster Gold. Now that we're wrapping up the end of this video, I want to do a little channel update. I don't usually do this in video format, but I want to give you guys an update and let you know what's going on with my creative process, why videos are taking way longer than usual, especially short ones like this Booster Gold video, and why there's no X-Men Evolution this week, right? And that's simply because college is kicking my ass. I bit off a little more than I could chew with how many classes I'm taking this semester. I didn't do enough prep work during my break to have enough long videos prepped for you guys every week, and so that's on me. And I really do want to bring you guys longer videos like the EMH videos, the Spectacular Spider-Man videos, the X-Men Evolution videos. But I'll be honest with you, the motivation for doing those right now is not at an all-time high. And it gets really difficult when I have 3 or 4 writing assignments that I get to get done for class, and then I still have to write the script for this video. I still have to record it. So unfortunately, we're just gonna have to do some of these shorter videos that have been on my idea board since I started making YouTube videos back in 2023, like this Booster Gold video, for example. And that's the best I can do right now, unfortunately. Now, obviously, I could just wait longer and do those videos, but at the same time, when I do that, I also kind of don't get paid. And this is my job. And I'm so grateful and so thankful for it. But right now, I think I need to take a step back from these longer videos, and it's gonna just take a few more weeks for me to get them done. And hopefully when I get into the groove with my college and everything, I can get you these longer videos again, because I love talking about X-Men Evolution. I love talking about EMH. I love talking about Spectacular Spider-Man. I love making these long video essays type deals, like retrospective types. I love making those. But right now, it's just gonna take a little bit more time, and I truly appreciate the patience from each and every one of you. For the brother that keeps asking about Lance, he is planned to be my first X-Men Evolution video, him and Kitty. Like, that's the plan, but I cannot give you a specific date right now because it's just taking so long. So thank you all so much for watching and listening to my little channel update at the end there. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Thank you all for watching. Time for me to do the whole YouTuber spiel. If you like the video, please leave a like. It helps out the channel a lot. If you dislike the video, dislike it, then leave me some comments, some feedback back in the comments down below. Hopefully you guys watch this all the way through before I get crucified by the like 100 Booster Gold fans out there. If you want to subscribe, it's free. You can always unsub later. As well, I do run a Patreon in which you can find each and every one of these videos not only early, but completely unedited. As I'm assuming dealing with DC content, I'm probably going to have to deal with a lot of different YouTube annoyances with this video, so I apologize about that. But if you want to see them unedited, you can see them all over on my Patreon. And as well, it's about $1 a month. You'll get access to the Discord where you can talk to me and the rest of the people who watch these lovely videos and support me each month. And if you're in the $5 tier and above, I will be shouting you out at the end of each and every one of these videos, just like these lovely people. So shout out Oscar, shout out McGann, shout out Sub Zombie Bruh, shout out eFrosty13, shout out Gabriel Lafonte, Transgers1, Video Gamer 75, shout out Golden Boy 420, Dakota Rawson, and of course MC Bomb 27. You all are amazing, and I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day.